Hello everyone, my name is Leo and in this video we will share a detailed review of this brand new Darkglass ANAGRAM, which is a very cool new unit. First of all, we will hear the unit in action in a brand new demo song, actually a song that I wrote for my upcoming new EP. Then we will describe the unit in details, then we will hear more sounds, also comparing the unit versus real tube amps, and finally I will give you my 2 cents. So, I hope you enjoy and please subscribe and ring the bell, as it would really help me to create more videos like this. Let's start with the demo song. Let's now describe the pedal in details. First of all, this is an amp profiling pedalboard and multi-effect unit in a very small and lightweight format, equipped with a pretty powerful DSP, as it allows us to load many instances of NAMM and AIDA-X profiles natively. I mean, without any format conversion, thus without any quality loss derived from the format conversions. As you know, NAMM profiles are pretty DSP intensive, and in fact this unit is equipped with a 6-core DSP which has also a dedicated neural processing unit. More specifically, we have a Rockchip 3582 hexa-core ARM Big Little with 2 876 cores at 2.4 GHz and 4 A55 cores at 1.8 GHz. So far, I mean with the first firmware iteration, the unit offers 6 groups of effect blocks that are amps and caps, overdrive and distortions, EQ and filters, modulations and pitches, delays and reverbs, and finally a group called utilities. In the amp and cab section we have 7 bass and guitar amps and preamps, 4 cabinets and a NAM loader block with some preloaded NAM profiles, and where of course we can also load our own NAM or AIDA-X profiles. Then in the overdrive section we have 6 overdrives and again a block where to load NAM overdrive profiles, with some distortion and overdrive pedal profiles already available. Then in the EQ section we have 7 EQs and 3 compressors. Then we have 8 effects among chorus, flangers and octaves. Then we have 3 delays and 8 reverbs. Finally, we have the utility section aforementioned, where we can load splitters or blenders or the effect blocks. I mean everything basically we need to manage the signal chain. Of course, the unit is still in its infancy and more effects will be added in the future, and take into consideration that also third-party manufacturers should be allowed to create effects for the anagram. Furthermore, as this unit embraces NAM profiles, I would not care too much about the amp and drive pedals offered currently by the unit, as the NAM community is very active and we can really find any amp we want already NAM profiled, that of course we can load in this unit. Let's talk about the signal chain. In this unit we can load our effects in 12 blocks, distributed into 2 parallel effect chains, with the possibility to load many instances of the same effect and arrange the blocks in whatever order we want. The number of simultaneous effect blocks we can load depends by the processing power required by each block. For instance, we can load max 3 NAM profiles at a time so far, which I think is an ideal number in order to have an overdrive feeding 2 parallel amps. Or we can load 2 NAM profiles, for instance, with a chorus, 2 delays, 2 reverbs, an EQ, a compressor, and we still have space for other blocks. So I think it is pretty powerful in terms of signal chain management, effect chain management. As regards the 2 parallel effect chain at our disposal aforementioned, we can run in full parallel, I mean applying each chain to a different source, for instance like an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar, or we can run partially in series and parallel, for instance applying parallel effects like 2 parallel delays or reverbs to the same source, like a single guitar. We can store our presets in 42 banks of 3 presets each for a total amount of 126 presets in total. We can interact with the unit thanks to a pretty responsive 7 inches LCD touchscreen and with 6 rotary knobs. Furthermore, the unit has 3 foot switches that we can customize for preset switching or for effect block activation or deactivation. Each preset allows us to manage 3 scenes for gapless switching. In terms of I/O, we have a guitar input, balanced and unbalanced stereo output, a stereo effect loop, MIDI in and out via mini jacks, an headphone out and a USB-C port. In fact, the unit can serve as a 4 input by 3 output audio interface at 24 bits and 48 kHz. You can check out the dimension in the screen, and the weight is 815 grams or 1.8 inches. It requires a center negative power supply that provides 9 to 12 volt DC with at least 2000 mAh, which is included in the box. Alternatively, we can feed this unit via USB-C with minimum 20 watts. The price is around $1,000 or euros, even if it might change due to all the tariff mess that is going on right now. More about the price in my 2 cents section of this video. Welcome in the more sound section of this video, where I will let you hear the anagram versus a real Tone King Imperial and a real Mesa Boogie Mark V. Of course, in my upcoming videos we will also perform some null tests, and we will also check out the latency. So subscribe and ring the bell not to miss those videos. Furthermore, all these tones are available in my NAM profile package that you can purchase from my website. The first tone I would like to share with you is a clean tone coming from my Tone King Imperial MK2. This is the clean tone used in the demo song, in the tapped part used at the beginning of the demo song. Actually, this tapped part is the result of 3 different takes, one pam-potted left, one pam-potted right, and one in the middle. In this way, I have basically obtained 2 purposes. First of all, I have the natural chorus that I like, thanks to the fact that I have 2 different takes, pam-potted left and right. Second, as the tapping parts are pretty soft in terms of volume, having the 3rd take in the middle allows me to have a pretty powerful tone, still maintaining its clarity. So let's hear this part, also comparing the anagram versus the real Tone King. With the second tone, we will hear the exact same profile of my Tone King Imperial, but actually pushing more the strings and switching the pickup of my guitar to an humbucker. You're gonna clearly hear how well the tone breaks up, and from a very clean tone, we're gonna be in an overdriven territory. This is a peculiarity of the Tone King, which cleans up and breaks up marvelously, and this peculiarity is very well respected by the anagram and my profile. The 3rd tone is the lead tone used in the demo song. I simply love this tone, which is based on my Mesa Boogie Mark V. I especially love how it reacts to my pick when I dig in the note. Beautifully. Let's hear it in action. And now let's hear a bass tone based on a simulation of a Kallian-Kruger amp. Finally, I would like to let you hear some effects, as I have played the soprano sax solo of the demo song through the anagram using a delay and the reverb in parallel. Let's hear the tone I have obtained. Final considerations here, and please notice that Darkglass has sent me this unit for free, but this video is not paid nor sponsored, and therefore, as usually, I'm free to tell you whatever I want. Before mentioning the pros and the cons, let me talk about why I think this is a step into the future. First of all, we have a small form factor without sacrificing I/O or signal chain complexity. Second, this form factor allows us to complement this unit with our own pedals if you want, still maintaining a pretty small overall footprint. Something pretty impossible, for instance, with a unit like the Line 6 Helix, which is already pretty big itself for considering to add other pedals to the unit. Third, this could be considered as an hardware platform which can be used both for bass or guitar. And this is especially true if there is gonna be in the future a sort of marketplace where other manufacturers could add effects for the anagram, as Darkglass told me should happen in the future. This is kind of a pretty peculiar concept relevant to this unit and pretty unique. I mean, Line 6 or Boss or Fractal are all using their own hardware and software. Here we could have a powerful hardware platform with software expandability left also to third parties. It is a kind of more open source product, I would say. Fourth, and maybe the most important point, here we have a decisive adoption of NAM profiles, which is open source and so far is among the best profiler in the world, if not the best. We have an entire community of guitar enthusiasts working on NAM, enhancing the profiler or creating profiles, etc. And this allows also the gear builder to have basically for free a great technology with many advantages. For instance, if you want to model an amp, you have to go through many steps using very complicated mathematical formulas, etc. Something I have discussed also with one of the IK Multimedia founder in my recent interview. Of course, this allows both to have good tones and to lower the cost on the gear builder side. Okay, and now let's talk about the pros and cons for my use cases, starting from the pros. First of all, I like the form factor. It is small, but not too small. It can be used standalone or it can be paired with our own favorite pedals, as I said previously. It runs NAM profiles natively and we can load 3 of them, which is pretty rare. The touchscreen is reactive and the I/O is perfect for my needs. I also like the signal chain flexibility, being able to load parallel effects, which open up pretty cool tonal possibilities, especially for delays and reverb, as I like to run the delay and the reverb in parallel. And now the cons. Well, the cons are all mainly related to the fact that this unit has just been released and a lot of development has to be done in the coming months. For instance, so far I miss 2 main things that are a stereo ping-pong delay and the computer app. Both these things should be developed in the coming months. The only other thing I would like to have is an XLR input able to drive a microphone. In this way, having a platform that can also be used by guitarists who are also singers. All in all, here we have a powerful hardware platform to allow us to load our favorite NAM or AIDA-X profiles. It is travel friendly and allows us also to blend this device with our favorite pedals to search for our specific own tones. The price is on the high side, €1,000 or dollars. But first of all, this unit kind of does not have any direct competitor. Second, you need a pretty powerful platform to run more NAM profiles together with also some effects at the same time. But of course, it is up to all of you up to all of us to decide whether the value for money is appropriate for our needs or not. And of course, the platform we have here needs some more firmware upgrades to become complete in terms of effects and functionalities. But for my use case, this is really something that fits well with my needs. And now, please let me know your precious and valuable opinions in the comment section below. I'm really curious to know, what do you think about this unit? Is it the right step into the future? What do you think about the value for money of this unit? I know that you are expecting some null and latency test. Of course, subscribe and ring the bell not to miss my upcoming videos. And check out the link in the card above or description below, where there is a link to a playlist of songs of mine and to my new EP, Art, Love, Freedom. And if you want to help the channel, you can purchase something following the link in the description. Thank you so much, and see you soon with other cool videos. Bye!